So I have not made a YouTube video in a very long time. Anyway, today I would love to highlight my favorite publisher. Because you know what, we give our authors a spotlight, but we're never giving our publishers a spotlight. And no, this is in no way sponsored, but if they would like to sponsor me, I wouldn't say no. I would dive right into it and hope that they love me. But anyway, so the publisher I want to be talking about in this video is Catapult. And this is my Catapult stack. She ate and she will forever eat. I'm going to talk about 3 of the books that I read from them this year. Okay, bear with me because it's very loud where I live. Don't worry, I'm getting a microphone, so it should change very soon. But I'm going to talk about 3 of the books that I have read this year, which were all great ratings, and then 4 that are on my TBR. So starting off with All Night Pharmacy by Miss Ruth. I'm not going to try to pronounce that though. This is following 2 sisters who basically bring out the worst in each other, have a problem with drugs, have a problem with their family, and after one of them disappears, the other one is left trying to navigate her life and generational trauma. It's beautiful. It's very fever dreamish. I read it in one sitting, and it's not that short of a book, but it's pretty short. It's under 300 pages, and it's absolutely fantastic. Like, it's probably one of my all-time favorite reads, and I loved it. And I read this in January, and I reached out to them because the author followed me on Bookstagram, and I was like, this is my opportunity, and good enough. I loved it. So next we have Antiquity by Hanna Johansson, which is newly released. It came out this year. It's translated from Swedish, and it follows like this Lolita-esque story, but make it sapphic. So it's about a mother and a daughter and a mother's friend, and the friend and the daughter get involved. It's very interesting, honestly. It's provocative, and I loved it. This was also a very, very short read. I read it really, really quickly, one day, and it was totally worth it. Next we have A Good Happy Girl, which has been the hyped weird girl book, which deserves all the hype, by Marissa Higgins. I believe this is a debut novel, and honestly, a lot of I think All Night Pharmacy was also a debut novel, and they're just fantastic. So we got A Good Happy Girl, which is following Helen, and Helen gets involved in a relationship with an older lesbian couple, and this is spicy, and it's not just about that. It's also about the fact that she has to deal with trauma with her family and these horrible crime that her parents committed, and this is also leaving her questions about what happened to her brother who hasn't been around, and you'll find out why. But this was also another fantastic book. I loved them. See, I'm a true fan. Then we have books that are on my TBR. You Exist Too Much has been on my TBR for a very long time, but it was never a book that I reached out for until I found out that it is published by Catapult, and now it's at the top of my TBR. So this is following a Palestinian girl who is 12. I believe she flashes her legs in front of a Catholic church or a church in general, and basically gets judged by men, even though she's 12. So I guess it's like a coming of age about living with a lot of expectations on you. Honestly, this has jumped to the top of my list. I cannot wait to read this. Haven't heard much about it, but from what I heard, it is very good. Now, the reason I love Catapult so much is I feel like often their books really remind me of A24 movies, and you'll understand with the next one that I'm about to show you. So we have Brutes. It's apparently pitched as the Florida Project meets the Virgin Suicides, and I love the Florida Project. If anybody knows me, I'm a huge die-hard A24 fan, and the Florida Project was a wonderful, wonderful, sad movie. And I also love Miss Sofia Coppola. She is the best. So I don't know anything about the plot, and I honestly don't really want to. I am left with just knowing that it reminds me of those 2 movies, and it reminds other people of those 2 movies, so that's why I want to read it. Next we have Juno Loves Legs, and I'm not one who reads books written by men. I actually kind of avoid them, but I couldn't help it because a lot of trusted people I know really, really like this book, and I believe this follows 2 teenagers. It's coming of age in the 1980s in Dublin and Ireland, and kind of that's all I need to know. That's right up my alley. I love this stuff. Next is their newly released book, The Witches of Bellinas. And honestly, can we talk about this cover? It's absolutely fucking fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. I love this. So from what I can gather from this one, this is about a couple who move to like a little community that basically controls like what you eat, what you do. It's giving very much cult vibes, and it's suspicious, and they all have these like weird ideas about what it's supposed to be and what it means. And honestly, like, I can't help it. And the more I talk about these books, because I've recorded this video like 3-4 different times now, every time I talk about it, it just makes me want to read it more and more for all of these books. This is my little stack, and I will preface by saying that a lot of these are gifted. Honestly, the only ones that were not gifted by them was You Exist Too Much and Brutes. This is not sponsored. It's not. I need to like really say that. It is gifted, but it's not sponsored. I'm under no obligation to make this video, but I just love Catapult so much, and I want to do more publisher spotlights. And I have a bunch of publishers that I really love, and that most of their reads I really, really loved. So yeah, hopefully this encourages you to pick up some of their books. They have tons of others, so if none of these speak to you, maybe try something else, although I do think a lot of them are similar. Similar in a good way, though. It's not like repetitive or anything. The vibes are just always there. These are a lot of books that have like no plot, just vibes. And yes, so thank you so much for watching. Now I'm gonna have to edit all these videos, which is not my favorite thing to do, but anyway, bye.